Thank you for joining us here today. Today we'll be talking about how to refund our employees for excess OASDI withheld due to the change in employee OASDI withholding rates that occurred in January of 2011. For one reason or another, employees may have terminated before Service Pack 2 or Service Pack 3 was installed to Sage Businessworks to correct the employee's withholding rate for OASDI. We can see that this has occurred when we click on our payroll module and utilities and print payroll verification report. When we preview this report, we can see that my employee John Akins has been withheld for $76.01, but based on the new rate, his withholding should have been $51.49. To make the correction, I'll need to update my employee and my company totals. I'll need to re-clear my payroll tax deposits that I've already paid, and I'll need to also correct my 941. To make these corrections, I'll need to access the payroll setup mode. Prior to accessing the payroll setup mode, we always recommend going to File and Backup and taking a quick backup of your Sage Businessworks to preserve your starting point before any changes were made. To access the payroll setup mode, we click on Help and click on About. From the Help and About screen, we can double-click on Sage Businessworks, select our company, and under Action, select the Add-At-Do PR Setup. We click on OK, and click on OK again, and our payroll module has now been placed into the setup mode. What setup mode means is that this payroll module is no longer posting to the general ledger and is no longer posting even within the payroll module itself. To correct my employee totals, I'll select Payroll, Employees, and Maintain Employees. I'll receive a visual reminder that I'm still in payroll setup mode and select Yes. For my employee John Akins, whom I can see terminated on January 31st, I can select his totals. In his totals, I see quarter-to-date and year-to-date employee OASDI is at $76.01. I can select the employee OASDI and enter in the correct $51.49 for quarter-to-date and year-to-date. I click on OK and I save my change. I also need to correct my company totals, which are accessed under Payroll Utilities and Maintain Company Totals. I select Yes to remain in setup mode and select the lookup to be able to select my U.S. and federal totals. My employee OASDI aggregate total for this company is $772.54, which is overstated by $24.52. So I will update this total to be the correct $748.02. I'll click on the Save button to save my change and receive a notice that since I've changed my withholding or unemployment tax liability, any deposits that I've made against the liabilities have been removed. I click on OK at this message and close Maintain Company Totals. I can then go to Payroll, Taxes, 941 Deposits. I'm in my current quarter. I select Yes to remain in setup mode and click on OK to load check forms. Since I'm not going to be posting this payment, I can select EFT and I enter all nines for my EFT amount. I'm going to go down and select my very last payroll tax liability, which will then select all the payroll tax liabilities above it. I'm going to date this payment for the last date in my quarter and select to post. I've now cleared out all of my paid tax liabilities, and I can verify that my payroll module is still in sync by going to the payroll verification report and previewing, and I can see that my verification is complete. I have no inconsistencies. I can now leave the payroll setup mode by going to Payroll Utilities, Display Payroll Status, and selecting No to remain in the payroll setup mode. I click on OK to print my payroll verification report, and in this case I'm just printing to an XPX document imager, so that I'm just printing to a file. I'm going to select Save and then type in OK to leave the setup mode. Once I've typed in OK, I can click on OK, and it will leave me on a screen where I can visually confirm that I've exited the setup mode. We can see in setup mode, no. I can now process my refund check for my employee under Cash Management, Transactions, Instant Checks. I'm going to click on OK to process my instant check, and at the Load Check Forms, I'm going to place a check into my printer. I'll click on Yes, and under To Whom, I can select Employee, and when I select the lookup, I can select my employee, John Akins. I'm going to make his refund check for $24.52, and I'm going to date this check for the last day in the quarter. And as a visual cue, I'm going to request a refund on my 941. When I request a refund for my 941 and they send me a check, it's going to remind me of my payroll liability. So I'm going to post this refund to my payroll liability account, which is 3212. Now I can actually use any expense account because I'm going to clear this 2452 with my refund check from Social Security. So I'm going to select to post this payment, and again I'm using an XPX image writer, and I'll save my check form. So now I've corrected my employee totals, I've corrected my company totals, I've refunded my employee. Now let's take a look at our Enhanced Tax Reporting 941. We'll go to Payroll, we'll go to Taxes, and choose Enhanced Tax Reporting and E-Filing. We're going to select our 2011 941. Our filing period is first quarter. We'll get a warning that we have inconsistent totals, but we know that because the Enhanced Tax Reporting option uses only payroll paycheck detail, and we have changed the employee totals. So we know, because we changed those totals, that the totals don't match the check detail. In this case, we'll select OK. We'll get a reminder about our employer match at 6.2%. We'll click on OK. And we're going to look at our 941. Now the actual tax deposits that we paid on our 941 happen to be $33.84.89. So we'll enter that here. We'll take a look at our Schedule B at this point. We'll put in our state code. And because we were a monthly scheduled depositor, I'll click on this box, and you'll see that it automatically preloads in my liability periods. My liability is overstated by the $24.52. So I'm going to select this liability, and subtract the $24.52, which leaves me with a liability of $991.75. I can then print my name and print my name in here as well. When we go back and look at our 941, we can see that we're due a refund check of $24.52, and we can mark this box down in the lower left to send a refund. We can then go ahead and process our 941. Now, in a month or two, the Social Security Department is going to issue us a refund check. When we receive that check, we can deposit it using the cash management module, Transactions, enter bank transactions. We can use a transaction type of deposit. The check would be for $24.52, and to clear the refund that we issued to the employee, we can use our same posting account 3212. We hope that you found this presentation informative and that it resolved your payroll over-withholding of the employee's OASDI issue. And we'd like to invite you back again very soon to review one of many other of our Sage Businessworks tutorials that we have saved for you on your Sage Businessworks online support page. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you back very soon.